Fox News alert now to Alexandria, Virginia. An analyst accused of lying to the feds making his first court appearance there today. Investigators say he helped gather information for that infamous Steele dossier. This arrest, part of John Durham's probe into the origins of the Russia investigation. Jonathan Turley joins us now. He's a George Washington University law professor and a Fox News contributor. And you say that Igor Danchenko's arrest is a seismic development. Why, Jonathan?
Well, it's very significant in a number of respects. First of all, this is supposedly one of the primary sources relied upon by Christopher Steele for his much ridiculed dossier. The FBI concluded, and American intelligence generally concluded, that the dossier may have been a vehicle for Russian intelligence disinformation, and that some of the sources relied upon might have been Russian intelligence agents. But this was a key figure in putting together that dossier. And what the indictment does is show us what Durham has, and he has a lot of new information. One of the figures that he does not name that features prominently in this indictment is referred to as PR Executive 1. And this is someone who's described as a close advisor to Hillary Clinton, someone who's worked in her prior campaigns, who was given a high-level appointment by Bill Clinton. And this figure features greatly in these allegations. They describe meetings in Moscow with rather shady Russian figures involving this executive, involving Danchenko. And it also says that some of the stuff that came out in the dossier seemed to come from this PR executive. And there's really weird details. Like at one point, this Clinton advisor gives one of these Russian figures the autobiography of Hillary Clinton, and it's signed by him saying, "To a great Democrat." I mean, just really odd details. But this has even greater connections with the Clinton campaign and Clinton advisors in the development of the dossier.
Okay, so Danchenko's being charged with lying to the FBI. You go on to say, because one of obviously the big questions is, now that this is the third arrest by Durham, what big fish might come from all of this as he moves forward in this stage. You say in your piece on jonathanturley.com that Danchenko's the type of defendant that prosecutors pressure to flip against those who retained him or used him in this effort. In other words, you say he strikes me as someone who can be used as a building block to apex defendants. Jonathan.
Right. Usually when you see these types of major indictments, they build over time towards an apex target. They use many of these indicted individuals to flip and to serve as building blocks towards that sort of matinee indictment. Danchenko doesn't really strike me as an apex target. He is very useful if you want to proceed higher, because he was used as a vehicle, essentially, of getting this information of the dossier, and then dossier was used to get this information to the press. And we now know that the Clinton campaign, which denied throughout the campaign that it funded the Steele dossier, did in fact fund it. And this indictment says that you have these key Clinton figures who are not just helping put together the dossier, they're actually in Moscow. They're meeting with Russian figures to try to get compromising information on Trump. So the question is, who might be above Danchenko? And there's a number of people that come to mind. The person that should be most concerned is whoever fits the description of PR Executive 1.
Wow. That's a big statement. And as you say, Durham is far from done with this investigation. So we'll see where he goes next. Jonathan, thank you for joining us on that.
Thank you.
All right.